When was the last time you were talking to somebody about a personal experience and being a little bit vulnerable, and they just said to you, "Why can't you just get over it already?" I'm Billie G. Hello. Welcome to Austin, Texas. And something like that happened to me this week. And I want to share why I think that question is absolute BS. And you know what? As long as I'm on it, I just want to point out that I find that question really disrespectful as well. I find that when somebody is coming at me with the question that starts off with, "Why don't you just?" And especially if it feels very pointed, like if there's frustration behind it, I feel like what it is it's coming at me saying, "Why haven't you figured out what I've already figured out?" As if their truth was your truth and whatever they see for themselves is going to work for you. There is zero understanding in that we are all different. Like, we're not even the same in terms of whether coffee nourishes us or freaks us out. Or we might even be day on day different of like, this thing may be great for me today, but it's going to send me into an absolute tailspin another. So finding myself in a situation where somebody is coming at me like, "Well, why can't you just use my solution? It works great for me and I've already figured it out. And by the way, you're wasting my time sharing something that might mean something to you." I guess I'm feeling a little spicy. So here's what I know about letting go. I've never known it to be an instantaneous thing. After all, how many times have you done something, and even when you were the perpetrator of it, say you were a jerk or something, how many times did that go over your head, around and around and around and around? There's something about being human that makes us dive into it and, feel its discomfort and do anything to try to take away that feeling of, "Oh no, I'm really a bad person. I impacted somebody else in this way," or "I'm broken," or I don't know how to deal with this and I don't know how to move on and I feel really stuck." That's normal, I think. And pardon the wind. I decided to go out for a little walk. And so I think first things first, letting go can be a really very gradual thing. And it also requires some openness to being able to feel all the feelings and anger and discomfort that resulted from an event or a relationship or a series of events. And it's your way of telling yourself, "I am so not happy with the way that went." But at the same time, that's also an indication to yourself to say, "I am alive and I feel something and I feel something very deeply. And it doesn't all have to be super positive." I suppose the other thing that might be helpful to point out is that these are usually negative emotions. Is it okay to say that word? And, these are things that cause anger, upset, frustration, anxiety. They might cause you to swirl, like hitting a broken tooth or, slamming on a hurt thumb over and over and over again. There's something in that discomfort, like the way we relive those experiences. It's almost like, it's not like we want to punish ourselves over and over again, but there is a feeling about it, like like it tries to inch its way out of you by putting the scene on repeat. and maybe trying to sort of justify it in one way. And like those situations, when those things come up, I find that they are not easy, and that's the sort of point where we might be seeking wisdom for ourselves, or but wisdom isn't the first thing. I think the first thing that maybe comes out of it is comfort. I need some comfort. I need to move out of the place where I'm feeling so crappy about everything. And if you're anything like me, that might be one of those situations where you go to try to distract yourself. Might be with a nice piece of cake and some coffee. Or it might be where you go and say, you know what, I've got this project. I'm going to go spend money and I'm going to divert my attention over here somewhere. Or it might be that you even go to journal in an effort to sort of get these feelings out, and you find yourself circling around it over and over and over again, and like not really getting to the crux of, well, what the hell happened, and why, and you know, what am I going to do next time? So I don't know if this is helpful, but I think maybe the first thing, all I'm trying to say is, one is, if somebody comes at you, can you find some way to recognize that maybe that approach is not very friendly toward you, and it's okay that you might be reacting to that person sort of coming at you in that way. The other thing is recognizing yourself of like, oh shoot, I might need to sort of spend time with this a little bit, to sort of process. And it may be a sort of question that ties back to a repeating pattern in your life. And it might be something that if you find yourself looking for a distraction, recognizing like, oh, actually, I don't want to eat that now, because if I eat that thing while I'm thinking of this thing, then I'll be swallowing all those feelings that actually want to get up and get out of me. And that's very hard to recognize in the moment. But starting that process and just noticing like, oh, I'm feeling a bit spiky right now. I'm feeling a bit spicy right now. And deciding like what you want to do next. Like for me, I just started this thing going, hey, somebody else's solution is never going to work for you. Hopefully this is more of a step than a mindset. But one of the things for me that I find I quite like in that moment is I shift to something physical, getting outside, getting space, getting away from that physical environment. And also, I find that it's my favorite time to declutter. Just because I think in getting physical with my body and taking something else and going through that act of having a bunch of things and knowing that I have things that feed me in there and things that might have expired and things that might have belonged to my old self and no longer serve me, to be able to put that focus towards something else and start that act of sifting and replacing and cleaning and then being very precise in where things get put back, that kicks off the process in my brain where I can also be thinking of things like, what control did I have in that situation? What was with the words I used in that situation? Was that behavior from that situation like some part of me that an older, younger, you know what I mean by older, younger, like a person in the past, like who used to be in the past, maybe was reacting to a completely different situation, and that was something that you haven't quite processed or entirely learned from yet. And then from there, like slowly getting to a place where you say, you know, if I were to do that again, I think this is what I see from myself, this is what I see from the other person, and I would have liked it to go this way. And maybe if something like that comes up again, here's how I can be more honest or authentic or kind in that moment. and getting to the point where you're pressing forward without swallowing feelings, but being able to speak with your authentic truth in that moment, and with that sort of feeling of, yeah, this is me telling myself what I need to hear right now. It feels really good. And rather than letting go, understanding that those sort of things actually transform you. And they can transform you one way or a million ways. But there is something in your control about the way you respond to a situation that can bring you closer to a self that you can really stand by and love, because you'll be speaking with integrity. So I don't know who needs to hear this. I felt moved to say it, so I'm hoping that if you're one of those people, you hear it, it resonates, it strikes a chord in you, and you think, yes, I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna put myself first. Okay, that's all for me. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. If you want to get in touch with me, shakinbillieg@gmail.com, or simply comment on the video. Till soon, guys.